Welcome to the spine-tingling tales of terror.
Come on in, if you dare, into the ghost deer hunter's lair. A pot of magniflage on the fire, the scent all deer desire, gently and patiently stirred, as deer are being lured.
Just like deer being lured to magniflage, the smell of Thanksgiving draws your family and friends in. So tune in and watch Cooking Time with the Arkansaw Boys and Girls. When you say that.
Hey, you never finished that ghost deer story.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Let me finish that ghost deer story.
So, you want to hear a ghost story, do you? Well, I've got one that happened just down the road from here. It's the legend of the ghost deer of Graysville. It starts off with three boys that were friends, much like the Arkansaw Boys. They had heard about the legend of the ghost deer, how hunters from miles around would come and jump the ghost deer with their dogs at the orchard, the Pattern Orchard.
They're coming.
After they jumped the ghost deer, it'd run down and cross the creek. Cross the creek, up through the hollows it'd go. There'd be hunters lined up at each crossing. They would shoot the ghost deer, knock it down, but when they'd go to look for it, it had vanished. As the deer made its way through the hollows, up and across the way, it was headed toward the Holland Cemetery. Well, when the deer made it there, it would jump the fence and disappear. The dogs would run up to the fence, and with all the hunters' amazement, it was gone. It had vanished into thin air. Well, today's story starts with them three boys that were friends. They were going to set out to put their name down in the record book as the one that got the ghost deer. They all sat around one night, much like we're doing here around the campfire, and discussed about the next day's activities. They made a plan. One would be on his ATV and be ready to head the dogs off. The other two was headed to the Pattern Orchard, and they were going to release their dogs and walk them through the sagebrush fields and try to see and jump the ghost deer. Well, the evening was getting late. It was a cold fall evening, much like what we've had today. The boys met by the Holland Cemetery. Each planned and got ready. They headed off. The one boy went up by Hutto's pond, sitting and waiting on his ATV. The other two headed to the Pattern Orchard. They went around the curves, looking as they went, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ghost deer. They made it to the mill bridge. They went across the bridge, and it's clickety-clock, clickety-clock. as you went across the bridge. The boards, as you went across. All alone, though, they was looking for the ghost deer. They made it up the next hill to the Cattering Orchard. There they turned the dogs loose. Back at the Hutto's Pond, the boy that was on the ATV turned on his CB. That's all they had back then. It was before cell phones. He was hoping to hear his friends call out his CB handle and say the ghost deer had been jumped and was headed that way. He sat there a while. It was starting to get dusky dark. About then he heard it. The dogs had jumped and they were headed down to the creek. And boy, they was hot on the trail. He knew it must be the ghost deer. He radioed his friends. Did you see the ghost deer? Is that what the dogs is chasing? He got no reply. He got anxious and waited and waited and waited. The dogs were on the opposite side of the creek. He could hear them. They were hot on the trail, heading down to the bridge. He got to thinking that he would head them off early and head them off at the bridge. Soon as the deer crossed the creek, he would get the ghost deer. So he jumped on his ATV and revved it up and went around the curve sliding, just like a Arkansaw boy would. Made it around to the curve to the mill bridge. By then it was done so dusky dark, but he was riding as fast as he could. He wanted to be there when the dogs crossed before it got dark. He turned to the bridge and revved it up to cross the bridge, and about that time, he hit something, and everything had changed. The other two friends was pulling up prank, and it had gone terribly, terribly, terribly wrong. They had pulled a dummy on a cable across the bridge. They was hoping to frighten their friend, but to their horror and shock, as they walked up, they seen their friend. ATV had kind of slid over and hit the grail on the bridge and laid on his side. They looked, his body squirmed and jerked, and as they looked around with their light, they looked and saw their friend had cut his head off. His head lay there, and wide-eyed looked at him. He mouthed the words, "I'll get revenge on y'all." Well, that only started the next ghost story that I'm gonna tell. For that ATV rider that was after the ghost deer is still today seeking revenge. The prank had gone terribly wrong. The two friends felt so bad, and the word had got out in the community and everything about it, what had happened that night, and how they'd tried just to pull a Halloween prank, but it went terribly wrong. The community mourned the death of the young boy on the four-wheeler. As time passed, it just kind of calmed down and faded away. Kids forgot about it. Well, a few years had went by. People was going across the bridge, and every fall evening around midnight, if you was crossing that bridge. On one side of the bridge, the south side, there would be a fiery blaze. These lights come on, and it would run, and there's only one lane bridge. Well, at that time, people would turn, and the ATV would pass them, and they'd crash into the rail of the bridge, and look, there was nothing there. All they would hear was a horrible scream. Is, I told you I was gonna get revenge. That happened over and over so many times that they eventually tore down the old mill bridge that the accident had happened on. They told in the community that it was old and just needed to be tore down. But it was because of the haunting of the Headless ATV rider is the real reason they tore the bridge down. Because everyone that crossed around midnight, he was trying to get them two boys. Well, them two boys had moved away and tried to put it in the back of their minds. Until one day, they come back for a family visit. By this time, they'd done built a new bridge, and the hauntings had died down to just on Halloween night. Well, they went back on this particular Halloween night to the new bridge and were just trying to pay their respects and everything, because they was in town to see their friends and family. Well, they come up to the bridge, was going to drive across it. There, blinding, the red lights appeared on the new bridge. He run over to the edge of the bridge with the truck that he had, one friend. And as he did, the four-wheeler passed, and they went and hit the edge of the bridge. As they passed, they seen it was the Headless ATV rider, their friend. He pointed a bony finger at them and said, "They will pay, forever pay." But he still had no head as he flew off in a green, misty light. The two friends called for help. They come down, the wrecker hooked to their vehicle and their truck. They told their story. Nobody believed them. They said they wasn't going to return to this area because he's still seeking revenge on them. But anybody that passes on that bridge on Halloween night around midnight, beware, because he'll think you're the ones that pulled the prank on him, and he's seeking revenge. There's been tales that he's even runs them into the bridge now and pulls them out of the vehicle, seeking his friends to pay revenge on them. Just beware if you're crossing the mill bridge. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about finishing the ghost deer part of the story. Well, years had went by, and over the years that had passed, people from around the county and then around the state had come hunting the ghost deer. Same thing had happened. As they'd jump it at the Cattering Orchard, and they'd cross the Cattering Creek up through the hollows. At each crossing, People was there and shooting the ghost deer, thinking they had it, knocking it down, only to find it wasn't there when they'd go to pick it up. Well, this one day when they'd jumped a deer and crossed all them hollows, it headed up around Hutto's Pond. People lined across that road and shot at the deer. Same thing happened and kept on going. They knew, though, it was headed to the Holland Cemetery. But today that we're talking about, it was a different tale. Two brothers that'd been hunting out west for big game, elk, bear, and everything that was famous. The Holland brothers. They was there at the Holland Cemetery. One was on one side of the road, the other was on the other side of the road. They had done playing with everybody as this deer crossed the road. The ghost deer was going down today. They were gonna bag the deer. Both had big guns that they used to bring down elk and bear and everything. As I recall, one of them was a 700 Savage. Well, this deer had come around Hutto's Pond. They had sighted it. They knew it was a ghost deer. They had CB'd in and let the Holland boys know. This day the dogs were hot on this trail. You could hear them barking and barking and barking. Us that was standing around up above the Holland Cemetery knew that just below the cemetery, right at the edge of the fence, is where the ghost deer always crossed. That's where the Holland boys was standing. As it jumped the east side of the fence, you heard a loud gunshot. We stood in amazement and saw the ghost deer, as huge as it was and gray looking. It rolled into the road, the dirt road, and it stood up and looked at us all. It took 4 or 5 steps and leaped to jump the second fence by the Holland Cemetery. And you heard the next, the loudest bang. That was the 700 Savage headed fired, and boom, there lay the ghost deer. In amazement and shouting, we're all run down there and congratulating the Holland boys for killing the ghost deer. Huge buck. Looked like it was mixed with a mule deer. Sure enough, we got to looking and it had been shot all over and everything. And like the Holland boys said, if anybody could bring it down, they could. We congratulated them and helped them loaded it in their truck and everything, and by amazement, we all stood there and kind of felt a loss. A part of the history that we had hunted for so much was gone, but we was proud to be a part of it and congratulated these boys, and it was a massive deer. Everybody was standing around and just reminiscing on days that had went by about hunting the ghost deer and the things that had happened. As the crowd started thinning away, we turned to walk back up to the top of the Holland Cemetery. And then a young man came running down. This is what he said.
I saw the ghost here. He was just over there. He crossed the road.
Well, the campfire is going out. But there's time for one more terrifying story. Here it is.
Now comes the real fun, a truly spine-tingling tale. This story begins in the small town of Damascus, Arkansas, where the Burroughs brothers' Carnival just rolled in. And for the past week now, 3 children have gone missing, and the police have no suspects. But the children have found a suspect of their own, a creepy loner by the name of Old Man Withers. And one of the children has just gotten the nerve to go investigate for himself.
What the? Why are you doing it in my house? I'm gonna get you. Why are you doing it in my house? Get out of my house. I ain't gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Get out of here. Hey! Hey! Hey, kid.
Well, as it turns out, it wasn't Old Man Withers after all. It was me all along. But he must have figured that out too, because I accidentally dropped a prop at his house. So he's heading to the carnival right now.
Hey, kid, you back there?
Yeah, I'm on the table. Back here.
Where?
The table.
Where?
On the table.
Oh. What's he done to you?
Psst. Hey, over here.
Well, come on, kid. Let's get out of here, kid. Are you all right? Let me get all this over you. All right, kid? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just fine.